Ginger Prime stands with a rallying call. Pixelate faith, standing strong through it all. The frame rate may falter, but hearts won't fall. Chrono rewrites what you thought you knew at all. Late to the game, but his wisdom lands clean. Skill checks are off, that's the price of a dream. Gaming kinda brings a chaos and thrill. Dropping rare loot with unshakable will. Forte holds the line, grace under the blade. Faith like a fortress that never will fade. Scrag lights the fire with a storm in his breath. $80 flat for unfinished quests. Joy-Con still drifting, my patience long gone. But I'll queue up at midnight, you know I'll play on. Pull up a chair, the battle's begun. Legends are forged in the light of the sun. One life, no saves, play it bold, take the lead. At the Gaming Roundtable where the fearless plant every seed. Reshine by them, riding tree. Ride no please. Rise through the fire, no checkpoint in sight. One heart, one strike through the endless night.
Hello everyone and welcome back to the Gaming Roundtable. We've got a returning guest, hasn't been on the podcast since we rebranded. We've got Sync Weaver with us today. If you guys aren't checking him out, I'll be sure to have the link and his information in the description. But that being kind of said, welcome back to the Roundtable. We've got a crew here of legends, as the song in the intro kind of alludes to. Scrag and Chrono coming back in this week. Welcome back, guys. Let's start this discussion off. Let's start this week off because we've seen a big release from Nintendo. We've seen a lot of praise around that, which conflicts with a lot of the critique and criticism that Nintendo has struggled with, especially since the launch of the Switch 2. Should we start this off positive or should we get Scrag's opinion? Let's go with Chrono because we're spirit animals here. We both have been playing Donkey Kong Bonanza. What's your takeaway for the week, sir? How's it going?
I mean, I spent 3 hours playing it last night, and I've loved it. It's got all of that Nintendo feel to it. You can definitely tell it's the Odyssey team that made it. Playing through the destructive environments is a lot of fun. Now, somebody like me who gets distracted and wants to find everything, it's not going to be good for my playtime. I'm going to end up putting way too many hours.
Exactly what I was saying about my wife. She was
doing absolutely nothing because it's like I was like breaking stuff down. I'm like, oh, they're just going to give me enough of this currency that you find to buy stuff as I play. I don't have to explore everything just yet, And so I've had a lot of fun. Visually, people were talking about the performance and frame rate stuff. Visually, it wasn't a big deal. Maybe that's just me making a concession, in my console brain, but it didn't bother me because it was only opening the map. You could feel it kind of slow down a bit and then you close it and it's like, oh, okay, it's fine. Mm-hmm. And then just in moments where there's too many things on screen, it will slow down a bit, but it's not enough to it doesn't take me out of having fun. So that's kind of my take. It's great. I feel all the Nintendo polish on it. I'm glad it wasn't a launch game because Mario Kart was they were betting on that, and then now I think this game actually gets a chance to shine on its own, and I think that's really good for them.
I have to say, stepping into this game makes me really excited to see what they're going to do with Mario next year. Mm-hmm. Obviously rumored at this point, but it's Mario's 40th anniversary. Next year, it would be a really great time to launch a 3D Mario. Oh, yeah. And if this is what we're going to see from Nintendo's focusing on quality, it makes me even more excited because there are so many interesting things. One thing, I don't know if you've had your kids do this, but I had one kid building a house in the game, just terraforming the world, putting up walls. I was like, that's interesting. I wouldn't think to do that.
There's been a couple of challenge levels where I've been able to deform the terrain and kind of break the challenge, or kind of reorder how they like expect you to complete it, you know, or what they're trying to like teach you to do. And I'm like, oh well, this worked too though, so who cares? And that's how I approach like Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom. If there was an easier way to complete one of the shrines, even if it was like through cheese, I did it. You know.
No, cheese is especially in single player games. I don't have
Mhm.
any issue with it in that regard. The other thing is like as you said, different ways of approaching. I watched my daughter approach the thorns piece of it. She just dug under the thorns and and went right to the barrel. I was like,
There's been a
oh
bunch of things I found that they wanted you to like come at from a different direction, and I just accidentally like dug up underneath. I was like, oh,
yeah,
this room is here. So yeah, I love it. I think it's gonna a lot of people talked about game of the year. I don't know, but it's got a lot of hope, right? I think it's a strong contender.
yeah. So let's go with Sync. Yeah, you were just looking yesterday. I was watching and hanging out on your live stream, and you were checking out some Final Fantasy 14, playing some Mario Kart, and then you're like, "Yep, I haven't pulled the trigger yet on Donkey Kong Bonanza." But all in all, like the numbers, at least obviously on a launch day for a game, from a content streaming perspective, seemed that everybody was playing Donkey Kong Bonanza.
Yeah.
What's your read on it? Because I got the feeling that you were like, yeah, I'm looking forward to playing it, but that's going to happen at some point in the future. What do you think?
I think I am going to waste a lot of hours playing this game, probably beat the game 100% it, then replay it so that I could speed run it and through the most impossible and ridiculous way possible. Because it just
Nice.
seems like it gives too, like, I want to imagine that in the Nintendo office that the Breath of the Wild team is looking at them like this and they're just like, okay, I see you. I see what you did. I see what
Yeah.
you did. And the Donkey Kong team is just like, mm-hmm. Because the fact that you can dig underground to make a different passageway, the fact that you can take any challenge in any kind of way that you want to, because that's how creative it is, the fact that you can manipulate the terrain
Mm-hmm.
in the way that you do. And I've taken a sneak peek. I've taken out of the practice of buying a game on day one. I just want to watch, see what's going on and see what everybody else is saying. I'm seeing like 10s and 9s all over the place.
Yeah.
It was surprising to see that not only was Donkey Kong back in like full force, but the fact that they gave him such a huge playground.
Mm-hmm.
The fact in being is that someone, you said one of your kids made a house. Well, then they can do whatever they want. They can make a giant building. They could probably make a face. They could you could probably I believe there's like a snowball level that you could roll a whole bunch of snowballs down a hill, and you can see
Oh,
how
that's gonna be fun.
yeah, you could just crash that into anything that you want. You could probably make a snowman if you wanted to. And I believe they even have like a sculpting section. They showed that in the direct where they were sculpting a Donkey Kong head. So
Mhm.
what they were really showing was kind of like the physics and mechanics of the game, showing you like, hey, look, the terrain is manipulable. Like you can change it just by punching it or throwing sand at it, or you could just basically do whatever you want depending on the texture. And like if it's sand, you could stick to stuff, or if it's a rock, you'll just destroy things. Or if it's I don't know what materials is in there. They said gold explodes for some reason. That's nice.
Yeah.
So I can't wait to actually get my hands on the game after just watching people play it. I made sure not to get too far into it. Keeping myself out of the spoiler territory if I can. But I did see like a couple of layers and the stuff that they already showed in the direct. I made sure not to go past the zebra power that they show so that I don't get too spoiled and too excited and I just jump right in. But you can tell I'm going to pull the trigger very fast. I think this game is probably a game of the year contender in my eyes.
Yeah, I can see it being a game of the year contender. And honestly, like I like when Astrobot, it won game of the year, so it's like there is a precedence for it, having at least some opportunity with it. One thing I'll say in terms of just the impression I got, because my capture card wasn't working, Chrono for my review that maybe will go up later today provided me with his gameplay footage, which is great, but that actually forced me to get kind of out of review mode and just go and play the game with the kids and see and me play, they play, their reaction to like my gameplay and how they kind of approach these things. And the thing I was actually evaluating was how quickly are they like, can we just go play Minecraft? How quickly are they going to be like, can we just go play
Yeah.
Power World? Like, how fast is their run back to the games that they spend most of their time playing? And all in all, they wanted to play. I found them, and they were playing today. So I was like, that's great. Obviously, there's going to be an upper limit on that. This isn't a pure sandbox, but it does make me say, based off of what's there, I wonder if Nintendo is, because this experimentation came out of Mario Odyssey, where they were playing around with some things, and then essentially just kind of builds upon those ideas. It'd be interesting to see like how from here this game evolves. Do we get a Bonanza 2? Well, time will tell. But I think all in all, I'm very pleased. It feels like a real fitting thing for the Switch overall. Scrag, obviously, you've been vocal, especially about the price of Switch, the price of games. Bonanza coming in at $70. What's your read?
I'm just gonna let y'all enjoy this one.
Hey, I'll admit, like $70 is a steep ask, but I'll just fall back on what I've been saying since game prices have gone up. I'm just buying less games.
Mhm.
So I bought Donkey Kong. I'm gonna skip out on some. I know I'm not buying Drag X Drive. I don't know if anybody was looking forward to that one, but
What is that?
that's that wheelchair game. They're using the mouse. It's first party, so like they're gonna put something behind it, but I think it's gonna bomb like 1-2 Switch did.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like it's fit for my tastes because I remember what you were talking about, and I'm like, oh, okay,
I
it's
completely forgot that there was a wheelchair.
yeah.
Well, it's to show off the mouse controls. It should have been a launch title. Honestly, it's like what if Rocket League was basketball but wheelchair basketball? Nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying anything wrong with wheelchairs. All right, just put that in the pod so nobody can take that out of context. They will anyway. I'm just saying the game itself looks weird, but like that's coming. I think that's the next like Nintendo release because we still don't have a date for Metroid.
Right, and nothing against the game itself. I'm just wondering what that price would be like comparatively. I believe they said that they were going to price their games appropriately.
That's probably gonna be $40. No lie.
Variable pricing. I'm actually all for variable pricing because I don't think every game has to be that. We've seen that push though with consoles where they're like, it's a console release, we're going to charge,
And
whatever.
Nintendo's even come out recently and been like, we're looking at smaller teams with smaller or shorter release cycles. Maybe that lends to games being a little cheaper depending on the scope of the game, right? So if it's this big massive game, sure, but I don't think
Nintendo cheap is also a relative idea, especially because discount is a word that you don't see until like after.
I was legit shocked that Mario Odyssey was being sold for like $40 recently.
Yeah, that's like, whoa, they're bringing that back, but it's they maintain that price structure, so it's always kind of like with the Nintendo game, is it worth it? Like, well, I mean, chances are, like if you wait, because like if you said you get out of the Nintendo ecosystem at all, just anywhere else, and you're like, hey, should I get this game? Well, just wait a month, and it's going to be you're going to see a discount, and wait half the year, and it's going to be like half price. Like it's just these games have the it's like a hype tax, and then it just kind of has a rush to who can get to $40 and just kind of maintain that, because then you still want to take advantage of like various different sales, like Steam sales and things like that. So this summer Steam sale, I was like, I managed to get through that unscathed. Largely in part to Final Fantasy 11 and No Rest for the Wicked, because I was like, oh, I'm sure it'll be on sale again. I'm going to keep playing the game that I'm enjoying right now.
Oh, you're a survivor. Oh, I see. I didn't really survive that summer sale.
I was there was a lot. It was a lot that I wanted to buy, and then I was like, I have a lot that I need to play through right now. So I talked myself out of it, thankfully.
Now my list doubled. So
I was gonna say, like, before we transition to our next kind of topic, it is good to know that Chrono does think that wheelchair bound people are weird looking. That's all I heard.
I just think they could have found a more creative way to demo mouse controls other than me having to do this on my desk like some kind of weirdo.
Yeah, wouldn't it in my mind just be a shooter? Like, I think the thing that demos the mouse controls probably the best would be Metroid Prime 4, right?
What was that? What was the punching game from last generation?
Arms.
Yeah, they could have done that with the mouse. They could have made it like infinitely like could have made it to where like you have like a mode where you block with the mouse like so, right?
Yeah.
It would have been cool
Or-
to see Mario and Rabbids get like a mouse mode update, because like strategy games could work better. You know, like Civ, whatever number they're on now, supports mouse mode on Switch too. And the people I've talked to that play it are like, yeah, this is how you should play it because it makes sense. You know, literally could have made a battle ski game.
I think you're absolutely right. They're introducing a mouse mode for their Joy Cons, so I think something like a strategy base, maybe like you said, Civ insert number here, and they brought out Age of Mythology, which I hope.
Mhm.
I don't know if that's on the Switch, but Age of Mythology is my favorite Age of game like ever, and I'm glad they remade it. But it would have been perfect for the mouse system. They could have brought out a maybe another Punch Out or something. Bring Little Mac
Yeah.
back. Hashtag Bring Little Mac back, please.
Bring
Yeah,
that
right.
back.
No, but for sure, like it's interesting. I'm just surprised they didn't do more like free updates that just added mouse mode to existing Switch One games. Like, I don't think that would have been a big deal.
free?
Yeah, free.
No.
Hey, that
Nah.
Pokemon update was free, and I would have paid for that one.
So it's so weird. Like I don't like. Oh, yeah. Odyssey had a free. I think the Splatoon was free.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Legend of Zelda. No, you got to pay for that.
Well, you did get the performance upgrade for free. You just didn't get all of the other features they added, which all require a phone anyway.
Well, at least the game chat doesn't require a phone. That was literally like, are you gonna play a multiplayer game on Switch? No. Like it's I don't want to have to fire up a phone call when I could just go play the same game on Xbox or PlayStation, and we got Discord and we're rocking and rolling. Like this is ridiculous. It's like no, thank you. Now it's like, oh, cool. I see that someone's on. I'm jump into their little game chat and hang out and talk for a little bit, which is pretty cool. All right, so let's transition a little bit because I want to talk about the Final Fantasy XIV mobile game. Now, Final Fantasy XIV right now, I'd love to get Sync's opinion because I've been seeing, at least my feed has been feeling very much like Ginger Prime 2023. Like it's like, yeah, there's some problems with this game where it's not going in a good direction. This isn't going to end well, and now it seems like that trend is kind of is a little head of the game there. But as 14 mobile gets ready to kind of roll out, in my mind, I'm just like, is this going to be the premier version of Final Fantasy? I don't know. I haven't gone hands on with it, but I'd like to kind of get your take and start with what's your current read on the game? How are you feeling it? I saw you were hanging out, playing it, running some dungeons and stuff yesterday. Where are you at on this one?
Who are you asking?
I was asking Sync.
Oh,
He's he's looking up something. I'll narrate it for those listening to this in terms of just audio.
Uh-oh.
We'll see because
Again.
oh no. All right. Well, let's toss over to Scrag. With the news essentially was a little bit like last week. In order to use the market boards and more, you would just need to kick back. Like you have to kick them some money.
yeah, you have
what do
to
you think
pay
about
like the equivalent of $50 or so in order to have access to the market board and trading, I believe, because they were having problems with people like doing RMT and stuff like that. And
free to play, like all online games have bots, and that's why when people complain about them in any kind of MMO online game, especially when it's a buy to play or there's a sub, I'm like, I'm not so worried because they are kind of funding the game. But in a free to play, it's like you're just opening up the floodgates. So limiting that to paying customers, I personally have no gripes with. But you were saying, sir, I didn't mean to jump in, or maybe I did. Oh, you're muted. Okay, well, he's still muted. Let's go back to Sync.
Okay.
We talked about Nintendo and then no technical issues now.
okay, sorry about that. Someone called me like 6 times, so I'll call them back real quick. But yeah, so I don't know. I think there's a lot of people who would like to play Final Fantasy 14, but they also just don't want to spend the money, which is, in my opinion, a good thing because if you're not dedicated enough, I don't want to run a Savage with you, right?
Yeah.
But on the other hand, like, yeah, cool, they'll get to enjoy a version of it, and I think that's pretty cool. I think it opens the fan base up a little bit more, which at this point we've already done a ton, so we might as well do it more. And you know, I think it'll only mean good things. We might see more new players on the PC version as well. The only thing I'm concerned about is
Yeah.
how long it's going to take for the mobile version to kind of start to get caught up. Because a lot of times with these kinds of like re-releases or like regional releases for MMOs, it takes forever for the game to catch up. And this is basically, if they don't catch up quickly, it's basically 14 A Realm Reborn Classic, which I don't want. So we'll see.
Okay, so sorry about that. I had to
I switched your mic. Your mic is still not using the right one. No, you're good, Sync.
Okay, let me get that back here.
It's not a real stream without technical issues.
There we go.
Yeah. There we go. All right. Yes, Sync. Hopefully you heard the questions that was asked. The show is yours.
It was about the mobile, right? Because I cut out a little bit.
Mobile, and at the same time, the state of where you are vibing with the current state of Final Fantasy 14, because like it feels like at least my YouTube feed, whenever 14 is brought up, it's not in a positive way, and so it's like I joke that it's like it felt like very Ginger Prime 2023 or 2022, like back when I was like, guys, like there isn't this doesn't end well. And now all of a sudden, I've seen personally more people come in and say, I'm so sorry what I said to you. I totally get it now, and I was like,
Yeah.
hey, no hard feelings. So from a vibe check on where you are with the current state as an active player, and then also looking at, especially as an active player, Final Fantasy 14 mobile, is that a good thing in your book? Are there concerns?
For the mobile version, at the very least, I think it's going to open up to maybe a good amount of people who wish to take Final Fantasy on the go. It is going back to A Realm Reborn with what I could see certain updated animations, which is kind of pissing off a lot of the people on PC. But if I were to take a look at it, it does feel kind of like how World of Warcraft said, "Hey, do you like vanilla? Here's classic, but it's on a phone." And that's how I feel about mobile. I think it's going to have its audience, and that audience is probably mainly going to be those in like Japan in the East, those who are on the go all the time, can't really sit down, play on the PC. So I think it's a good thing for them, and for us, maybe it's going to be a bit more niche. People who do want to make another character probably associate with their friends on the mobile. I don't see too much of it being too positive or too negative. Again, I think it's going to be a niche. But if you want my opinion on the current climate of the PC version of 14, maybe it would help some people to be more reinvigorated, and that's me being hopeful, because as of right now, 14 is kind of in their, I want to say wrath. No, not wrath. I'm sorry. It's in their battle for Azeroth phase, comparatively, where the content is not satisfying a lot of people, and the story itself, for like the first time ever, was not great. So maybe if some people wanted to re-explore 14, and I don't know if they're going to put the whole story in for mobile for Realm Reborn. I want to believe that they will.
I'm
But
assuming if it's successful, they will, because it's like the other
yeah,
aspect is that, and as what Scrag kind of pointed out, like if you want to engage in the economy, you're going to have to pay. I have no issue with that. I think that,
right.
yes, because you don't want your economy screwed over by bot farmers who at least aren't funding the game itself if you're having fun. But if the game doesn't make money, like I don't see that happening. And the thing that for me, and I'm very curious because like Scrag, you kind of brought this up as well, is like, will it translate into people actually going and playing the PC game and subscribing to the PC game? And that's like, in my mind, I don't think it was the lack of information that this game exists that was stopping them from playing. I think that subscription is actually probably that barrier, which has positive effects on the community. Like you said, I don't want to run a Savage with anybody who's not pot committed. Like you don't want to go and put in that time and effort if somebody isn't also on that same kind of investment into the game itself. But man, I would love to see what is that translation rate. But anyway, you guys were saying.
You know what? Now that I think about it, you trying to translate people from the PC to mobile. It's like one of the hardest thing in the world. It's like trying to yank out a piece of gold and trying to say, "Here's copper. It's just as good." It's not. It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
So you look at this and you see the amount of people playing 14 right now. Would they trade their progress? And I from the many people that I know, from the times I've talked to some of the other streamers, you know, $10 is not really too much of a barrier for them, but for a good amount of people, that subscription is kind of a barrier for them. They probably would rather go to the mobile and see how it is. So, from what I'm saying, it's
Can you play
interesting.
mobile on PC though? Like, because that's the thing. That's like I'm
that's can't wait for the mobile PC client.
There is a way. I can't speak of it, but there is a way.
It's not illegal.
Right?
Yeah.
Emulating an Android phone is not illegal.
I know people that do that for all sorts of mobile games. Okay, I do have a question on this.
Yeah.
Okay, so mobile is totally separate from the PC client.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I feel like the attempt there is to just appeal to, like Sync mentioned earlier, a lot of the Eastern markets that are not home. They're going to play on their phones. They play a lot on their phones anyway.
Yeah.
So I don't see something like this being too successful in the States. But that lack of like even like any kind of crossover, like there's no benefit to having been a long time 14 player and then playing mobile.
The fact that they're not doing that, like, is the same frustration I have where Final Fantasy 11 and 14 don't have some kind of
like I don't understand.
They just reintroduced, but it's a temporary discount. It's like no, like pot commit, guys. Let's
because as somebody who hasn't really played either, I started 14 when it dropped on Xbox and was overwhelmed by menus. I'm not gonna lie. I don't like heavy UI. Phantasy Star Online is the same thing. When it came to Xbox, Phantasy Star Online 2, it's too much. It's too dense. My caveman brain can't handle it. So what would be the appeal then if like I didn't have an account in either one? Why would I pick up either of them? But like, what are they trying to draw in? Totally new people and capture a market they don't exist in, or are they trying to simply appeal to that mobile market, like just all the way through?
I think it's multi-tiered. So, like we said, the subscription is a barrier for people. However, being that this is a mobile game, they can charge $40 for an outfit and people not get mad. They can also
do that,
right? Exactly.
In the current game with the sub.
Well, people get mad though, including myself. But I get mad at everything, so I guess that doesn't really count. Sure. But they can do multiple things. So, like I said, there's people who would really like to play, and one in particular I'm thinking of. You could play the game if you just didn't buy $300 of Magic cards every week. But there's a lot of people who would like to try it without any kind of commitment. They don't have a PC. It's like really common for people not to have a PC nowadays, compared to like 2005 when everyone did. I mean, everyone in our group did. Yeah. But on top of that too, it's just more of like it's more of an accessible thing to the Gen Z and
fair enough.
Alpha.
That was kind of like the next thing was like they're trying to get to an aged, like a different age bracket entirely. With that, like I just don't. The whole mobile thing. Like I kind of missed the announcements or the initial push for it, right? And so is it a regional test right now or is it public beta?
It's only China right now.
Okay.
Same thing with the Blue Protocol Star Res, which we'll talk about later in the show.
Yeah.
It's like, all right. And then apparently they just announced the global beta test for that game coming, which a lot of people ask me about. But regardless, so it's right now in China. It's on mobile, and a couple of content creators have had the opportunity to play it. I know Mr. Happy's shared that he had played that.
Interesting. Game. I would probably try it. Like I think I would because the stuff I looked up on 14 mobile, the UI didn't look overbearing. I might like if it has controller support. Like I hate touchscreen controls, so controller support. I could pop it up on my iPad. I would enjoy that more I
Yeah.
think.
Are we getting
you know.
cross hotbars on the mobile version? Have they
I
said
would
that?
assume so. No, like I don't want to speak out of turn because like I don't absolutely know, but I do know that with my Logitech G Cloud, it's an Android-based operating tablet phone. So technically, I could be able to put it on there. The value
You should be able
proposition to
to sideload
me,
it.
right? Well, yes, exactly. The value proposition to me in this regards is people have asked because I've been returned to Final Fantasy 11. People have asked like, "Hey, are you going to get your kids playing?" And it's like, honestly, I'd love to. I make a kind of a requirement. The kids got to go play some of the classic games. Like do a little book report on it for me. That's like yeah, I want to develop those muscles for you guys. It's not all just Minecraft here at the house. But to get people into 11, get my kids and family into 11, it's an astronomical, kind of military-esque coordination of do we have the computers that can like thankfully a lot of stuff can run it like Steam Decks, but then there's a financial kind of impact. 14 mobile, we already have a tablet, we have a couple phones. I've got the Logitech G Cloud. Being able to step and play with the kids in that version where there's not a sub where I'm all of a sudden like the cost to do this as a family is astronomical. I think there's a real case for that. So I could see myself, in a way, returning to 14, but in this mobile-esque era and kind of playing with the family and letting them jump in and play. So I think that's going to be really, that's going to be the kind of the value that I'll test out in real time and see if the kids are even vibing with it. Time will tell. Anyway, Sink, you've been looking like you've got some thoughts.
Yeah, I was thinking because we're talking about kind of like the value of what is to be basically like a free to start or free to play game on mobile, and thinking about it because we're already in that climate, right? We have gotcha games galore, free games galore. Everybody who wants to try it can, and they'll just download it and they'll just start. And from what we've seen, well, what I've seen from the UI, it looks simple enough for anybody to really just jump into.
Mm-hmm.
So if anybody's curious, they could probably go in and actually have fun and be able to start their adventure in 14. But then how does that work for those who are on the PC or is willing to move over from the PC? Like if it was me, I would do the same thing that you're doing and be like, so kids, this is Final Fantasy XI. Ignore the fact that it doesn't have any kind of modern accessibility in it. You're going to do it right now. You're going to play it. And this is what I had to go through when I was a kid. I was one of the first to face absolute virtue. You're going to face the modern one. Okay.
Welcome to absolute suffering. Let's go.
Mind you, I was like 11. So I was one of the first in like a room full of like adults, teenagers, and everything to face one of the first iterations of absolute virtue. I can't have my kids apparently face that kind of thing. So I feel sad. But I think if I were to give any of my nieces and nephews currently a version of 14, maybe it does look appealing. I could just say, hey, this is 14 right here. What I'm hoping is that it doesn't fall down the annals of every other mobile game that is free.
Right.
If that's understandable, because you'll get into it, you'll have fun, but then you'll start to realize you're going to have to play for hours to get resources, to gain and learn, to take on every other boss and challenge. And then you can look over to whatever roulette that they have, or if it's a gacha system, whatever gacha system that they have, you spend $10, and that is only your first $10 spent. And it may just repeat and repeat and repeat.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're stuck in that cycle. That's what I try to stay away from. Wuthering Waves did not help.
Oh man, dude. Like there's something like when it comes down to the game, as long as the relationship is understood financially, then I'm like, okay, if you want to make it a free to play, gotcha, etc. It's like as long as it's upfront that's what you're getting into.
Right.
Because anybody who comes back and says, oh my gosh, like I spent $1,000, it's like, yeah, you've got something we need to work on, developing some life skills called budgeting and self-control. So it's like, but when it comes to the kids, like the thing that I specifically avoid with them in the gotcha way as just a rule, I don't want to train their brains in terms of that gambling. I want their brains to develop normally, and then when they become of age, if they want to go throw some money down a hole and see if they get the thing they want, then that's fine. But I don't want to train them up in this age as they continue to
Yeah.
develop.
Yeah.
And so it's like if a game, like I've stated to this numerous times, like, and this is what I really loved about the Pokemon Cube game. I forget what it was specifically called, but it was kind of a mobile-esque Nintendo Pokemon game.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. I actually loved it. You had a maximum amount you could spend. I just if I throw $30 or whatever at it, it unlocks everything, and there's nothing else that we need to spend money on. Done, easy. I wish all mobile games would give me as a parent that option. Just tell me, is it $60? Let me just give you 60 and then stop asking for money. Like whatever that is, even if it's $1,000, I'm going to say no in that case, but it's like, let's just have a real come to Jesus moment and figure out what the price is going to be.
That's really the benefit I've seen of services like Apple Arcade.
Yeah.
Where it is phone games, but there's no microtransactions. There's versions of some of these legacy monetization games, right? That just nickel and dime you. But it's like, no, you just play the game and you got to earn the in-game stuff to unlock, but you don't pay any more money than you do for your subscription. So I like that. I wish it'd be nice if Google would do something similar. I don't know if they do, but Apple Arcade is really I think it addresses a lot of that concern. And then I did want to point out the rule in my house, because my kid went on a Fortnite streak for a little while, and she would ask me for skins and stuff, or hey, can I get the battle pass? And I'd be like, hey, if you can complete it, I will we could talk about buying it if there's a skin you want. But if you get nowhere close, I'm not buying it. And that's the rule I have for myself. Yeah. I'm not buying a season pass unless I know I'm going to complete it or have already completed it. So that just keeps me from overspending on stuff I'm not ever going to care about, or teaches her hey, delayed gratification, right? You can wait just a little bit, and then if it's something in the shop or whatever, it's let's wait. I can see exactly when it's going to leave. Thankfully she's kind of backed off of Fortnite and not really playing it a whole lot, but I still appreciate that she latched on and understood what I was talking about with it. We did the same thing with Fall Guys, because they have a season pass as well that comes out. She really wanted something in it, and I was like, hey, if you can get all the way to the end of the thing, it's yours. And she did it. It was okay, you worked for it. It's it's absolutely yours. But does this lend to that? I don't know. Gacha games work kind of different, where what you're getting in a Fortnite battle pass, whereas Star Rail, I keep getting free jades to pull characters with, but sometimes I am tempted to buy the currency because I really want a new character.
There is a difference. So I've done a full style documentary on Diablo Immortal almost 2 years ago, just going nuts, trying to see what were the limitations of that, and I found that I need a psychiatrist to mark me the entire way.
Get him.
Oh boy. But after going through Diablo Immortal, the dad had to do his job.
I saw my 2-year-old running around with my Switch 2, and Nintendo just came back on the family Switch 2 that I bought, saying that it's not kind of the damage, it doesn't hook up to the dock, and they said that's not covered by the warranty, and so
of course it's not.
Of course not. Yeah, and so I was like, y'all had better not. I was like, this is Dad's Switch 2. No, y'all don't touch it. You can play it on the TV, but this is mine. I don't have any other profiles on it. I'm not dealing with this nonsense. I had a family Switch 2, has y'all's profiles. Yeah, y'all have fun with that. So I just saw her running around, and that's why I was like, So
yeah,
cannot have that.
Yeah, that's a $500 investment. What are you doing?
Yeah, I've spent so much money on Nintendo, and they suck as a company, but then they just give me Donkey Kong Bonanza, and it's what is that? That syndrome in which that you're
Stockholm syndrome.
Stockholm
they
syndrome.
abuse you, and you still give them money and love them when they go, ooh, look at the new shiny.
You keep coming back. You just I hate you so much, Nintendo. I'm gonna get your game though. It's real fun.
Don't we all? Except Scrag, because he's so mad at them
He's
and everyone.
yeah.
He's a better man than all of us.
Yes.
He's
I
got
stick
more
to my
willpower.
principles. All right.
He's gonna look at us and be like, "No, it's called self-control and common sense. I don't know what you guys are doing. What the heck?"
Mhm.
That's what I. Yeah,
I prefer to call it spite.
I don't have the heart for spite. Except for Diablo Immortal. Screw that game. That game really taught me something. But I was trying to say the difference between like what you were seeing in gacha games and like what we're seeing with Nintendo and what they're doing with live service games. So in particular, they have, I think, a couple no, they have a few, right? Like they have a few like live service games because I do remember they have something called Ninjaga or Ninjala or something like that.
Yeah, that ended.
That was ended.
Yeah,
Okay,
that
so
doesn't
they
Did they
exist.
charge
killing
money
games.
for that?
This is another
Okay.
like, let's stop killing
Was it-
games, guys. Let's
Was
go.
it a free game or did they charge
It was,
money?
it was
for
free. It was
It
free.
is free.
It was free. It had the same. It had the same
less
kind
burn,
of marketing.
but it has
Yeah.
some kind of monetization, I'm assuming.
Yep.
Yeah,
It was the same
They're
thing.
Oh.
the dumbest
Oh.
people to ever release a game. Why is our game not making it? Oh, we forgot to implement it.
You know where they ended up? Those people ended up in Splatoon because
Yep.
it was
It was
very
all-
similar.
It was all Splatoon vibes. I'd say Nintendo could do a Splatoon service game, a free to play style game, and that would do really
No,
well.
don't give them ideas, please.
It
Don't
would
do
do
that. Please
extremely
don't.
well, but the problem is they couldn't charge $80 for the next one.
Right.
Right.
So-
Then people will just stay, and I think that's why we'll never see Call of Duty multiplayer, like COD Mobile style multiplayer, come to
Oh.
consoles. Because they can charge 80, 90, $210 for Call of Duty Collector's Edition every year.
That's on the Activision Blizzard side though, right? Like that's not like all the way Nintendo, is it?
And what's
No, we
silly
just-
about that?
Talking about service games in general.
Well, go ahead. I didn't mean to stop you.
In South America and other Latin / Southeast Asia countries, there is a game that is so incredibly popular, and it makes millions, probably per month. But other than that, it is completely free, and we have almost none of us here have ever heard of it, and I can't even remember the name. It is like a shooter with like movement and stuff. What their strategy is we want this game to run on literally like any screen. So like the requirements to run it are super low. You can run it on a $20 Walmart Android phone at like 60 FPS.
That's
And
wild.
it is extremely popular. And I wish I can remember the name. I'm totally blanking.
Is that the
but-
one
but I-
that came out on like the Series X, like with like a specific version for consoles, and they made a big deal about it, and then like it finally released, and then I don't know, it was like 3 months later, and they're like, never mind, it's not working.
I don't know.
Okay,
But
'cause
where I was
can't
going
remember
with
the name of
that,
it.
where I was going with that was these AAA type companies, they totally could do something to the effect of that. They could make, like, similar to Fortnite, they could make the best game that runs on anything and it's free. But, as I've said multiple times, greed. They think they can just continue to milk people for $80 every year for the same experience. And eventually, hopefully soon, they're going to learn that's not sustainable.
If I were to add to that, I've learned that when they say it is the least in your face disruptive monetization, I equal that to it still has monetization in it, no matter how good Wuthering Wave is in terms of combat story and possible glamorous outfits. It's still there to absorb the money out of people who are willing to give, which is a lot of people.
Yeah.
So, and I really like what they did with Pokemon TCG Pocket, though. They have a weekly limit. So if you ever reach if you reach $150, if you threw $150, they stop it. They stop your account from buying anything else.
I thought you couldn't buy anything on that. I
You-
thought you
you
had
can't-
to buy
you-
packs.
You buy gold. So
Yep.
it's a certain kind of gold that you use to buy the packs.
Is this
buy-
a new app then? Because the one I tried a couple years ago for Pokemon TCG would not let you buy anything.
No,
at
this is
all.
the
No,
one
this-
from last year, the one that's all booster focused.
It's
TCG Pocket.
there you go. Yeah, it's the pocket version. So the pocket version is different from the TCG.
It's got
official
more
version.
emphasis on feeding that kind of loot box hunger you get from opening booster packs
There you go.
Hmm.
Yeah.
with any TCG, but it's all virtual. You can be a free to play player on it and still enjoy it, but they do sell gold that allows you to buy like the cooldowns to open more packs, basically.
Right.
Ah.
But you get
They-
like 2 free packs in a 24-hour period.
Yeah, 2 if you're going normally, 4 if you got their premium pass. They also have
Which
a
they
premium
also
pass.
have a subscription. you
Yeah,
know?
and they do lock your account from buying any more gold after a certain limit. Per
See, I didn't know they limited that. That's interesting.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it's a good idea, because you don't you they get a lot of heat. All these loot box companies get a lot of heat when they have a game that comes out and it's people are, the whales are supporting the game, but then it's like, hey, Frank couldn't control himself, and yes, he needs to work on it and he should be responsible, but the game appealed to him in every way possible and did not hold back on making him want to spend all his money.
Right.
And so, at what point isn't it somebody's fault that they have an addiction or an addictive personality or whatever? But on that same token, it's like, at least this is a way to mitigate that, to take the heat off of like TCG Pocket in this instance. I think other apps do it. They're just not, the limits aren't as obvious, or they're really high. You're missing a mortgage payment before they step in.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
BDO, we're only gonna let you spend $2,000 a day.
Yeah.
On the whole thing of Diablo Immortal, by the way, I just saw a recent article from one of my chatters that said, so there used to be $400,000 to max out your character. Now, because of the updates, it's $500K at the top to max out your character. And I'm like,
That's minimum.
why
right?
are they still playing? And
Yeah, that's the best outcome minimum. Is what you would need, or is that a guarantee? Like if I drop
that is their min. What they think, if you're lucky, is $300K to max your character.
ooh wee. No
Yeah.
thanks.
Yeah.
Hey, Diablo 2 is still for sale, and
Yeah.
Heck,
I
I would
mean-
accept Diablo 4. Play that or
It's
something.
in
I
Game
don't know.
Pass.
don't pay for that. Just play Path of Exile instead.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Right. And they
I
had
need to
a
get back into Path of Exile too. I want to.
yeah.
I haven't played since December.
When the new season comes out, let's take a week off of work and just be degenerates together.
Julie was asking me what I want for my birthday, and it's like, can I just have some uninterrupted video game time and chips?
My
Yeah,
birthday,
it's-
hey.
If you legitimately want to do that when season 3 comes out, I'll do it.
Yeah.
When season 3 drop?
Yeah, I'll do it too. I mean,
September.
Sounds like we're. Ooh, all right. Making a date.
yeah.
That's
no.
not
Hang out. Hey bros, let's put something on the calendar because we're adults and that's how things happen. It's
Hey,
not
if it don't get on the
calendar.
calendar, I ain't doing it.
Like what? We were
Yeah, it's-
when?
Oh,
All right.
August 29th.
August 29th. Okay.
I wonder if New World's going to be doing something around that time though, or at least because they're building up back to their big kind of October, kind of release. They do a. We're wondering if it's an expansion. If it is, they haven't really started marketing. It's going to be interesting to see. The stuff they've got on the roadmap has me personally really looking forward to seeing what they do. But in the meantime, I'm like Final Fantasy 11, No Rest for the Wicked, baby. Let's go.
I wanted to speak on that one. I knew you were playing 11. And you knew. I hope you knew that I knew that you were playing No Rest for the Wicked.
Yeah.
Thanks, man. Fantastic game. Can't wait for the whole game to come out.
Yeah, dude. Oh, it's gonna be good. Go out, baby.
You went back to Final Fantasy 11, and I did for a month or two. I restarted my own character because I already had a level 100 and everything. I wanted to have a fresh start to see how it was. How is it that Final Fantasy 11 from 2001, right? That started in 2001 when it came out, I believe.
I was in college. Let's see here.
So
it came out, I think, my junior year in college, so 2003.
Right. And so
Final
2000,
Fantasy, like 2002 in Japan or something like that. It came out a year before.
so it came out back then, and over time they implemented a lot of quality of life. Comparing that to World of Warcraft and some of these modern MMOs, and especially Final Fantasy 14, how is it that 11 has a better new player experience in that rather than like how it is in World of Warcraft?
I
To
don't think it
me,
does.
so
I'm
okay,
not saying like even as a
It,
veteran, it's like the final boss of this game is an absolute virtue. It's getting an account and signing in and setting up
oh
PlayStation.
no, when you get into the game, oh
It took
no,
3 days to update this game on the Steam Deck, by the way. Like, it's like
getting an account for Final Fantasy 11 is not easy. No, that's not a good new player experience. No. But
that's
when
the
you
first thing a new player would experience. Though.
so
right,
the first thing
right.
you have to do when you're a new player on Final Fantasy 11 is you have to hit. Well, first of all, you have to find the button for the menu, which, by the way, it's the minus key on the top row. And then you have to figure out how to invert your cameras. And then you got to change on auto sort. And then you got to change your window sizes. And then once you do that, then you have to Google who you need to talk to do anything.
Not
I
So
don't
thinking
think
about
it's
the
a.
aspect ratio. Somebody
so
even commented on my footage, like
so
your character looks fat, and it's like, oh yeah, I forgot
Oh
to
yeah, because you
switch to
didn't use the
16 by 9.
mod to
Yeah,
change the
so
it's not a
the
mod.
resolution.
It's a literal config
yeah,
setting
it's a
within it. Yeah.
computer setting. But the funny thing is that everything you just mentioned, there's a
Mhm.
link when you're making a new account in 11 somewhere, and I wish I could bring it up, but it has
Yep.
like some Q&As and like state of facts, and just to tell you how to start everything up.
Mhm.
Technically, that's a menu. So you're still right that you have to go through like a whole entire sheet to figure out how to start up 11 and what you need to do.
It's
Uh,
probably better just to get a friend who's played before to just run you through it, in my opinion.
It's always no. That's always a better idea. It's always a better idea. But the when you get into the game, I feel as though they kind of like ease you into a lot of things you really don't need to know too much in order to start playing the game. And I
Mhm.
was just wondering, like for Brian at the very least, like what was your experience like going back to 11?
It's been glorious, and it's a little bit like still overwhelming because there's just so much. I was trying to run this mission, like the Windows 6 mission, because I had gotten so far in Vastok. I was like, oh, I'll change nations and work on these missions. And I was like frustrated because I was doing the thing and the step, and it's like then I think I remembered like, oh, before I had last quit, I already started progress. I've already done these steps, so now I need to go figure out how to do this next step. So trying to identify where I
Uh-oh.
am in the process, yeah,
Yeah.
was frustrating. And at the same time, like here I am just kind of leveling, playing the characters, relearning, where to find things. It's nice because one of the things that's different about now versus that, back in the past is like I'm streaming it. So generally like, Mr. Worldwide Warrior Light will pop in or whatever. It's just like a giant text message out to everybody like, hey, you want to come hang out? You do
Mhm.
get people who have like this ingrained knowledge, and there's so much knowledge that no one person in my mind can contain it all in their brains. So it's like you get these different experts who are like, hey, and so in a way, the community is the onboarding, and it's like,
And
yeah,
there lies the better new player experience is what I was trying to say. The
Oh.
context was that when you play
Mhm.
Final Fantasy 11, the community actually wants to help you without memeing and joking around in one location, or they tell you to figure it out yourself through third
dancing
party.
endlessly,
Right.
endlessly on a
Look
loop.
it up.
Yeah.
Read the manual.
Right. Like World of Warcraft, it was you need to download all of these mods. Then we can let you raid with us. And I'm like, what? And then you have all these video guides to learn how to do a raid instead of like people like step by step, like helping you or, along the way talking it out with you. Instead, it's no, you got to go and watch this video. No, you got to read this guide. No, you got to. And it's the same thing with 14. Like the Savage rating, it's like, no, you got to watch this video from like anybody. Actually, everybody is making a guide. All you see, I think Hector makes like the most fluent guides. So they give you a Hector guide in the most basic like Savage instead of talking it out. They make you do research. Whereas in 11,
Do
it's
your
like
do your research.
yeah, in 11 it's not a lot like that. You can say, hey, I don't know what to do, and somebody will actually answer you. That's my
cool.
experience.
I like that. Like that is cool because a lot of gaming communities just in general have a bad reputation for just being toxic. I mean, League is like the thing that comes to everybody's mind first. League of Legends is terrible.
I'm
But
going to jump in because I don't think it's like, I would say it's something with video game communities. It's about the difficulty of the content that they're doing. You go into that and, people are like, oh, 14's community is great. Well, until you reach a certain section of that community that's doing the hardest thing. And then especially the thing that I found the most interesting, and somebody said it, and it ended up being true, is that the community will love you, especially from a content creator perspective. Think Asmon and Rich and all those people when they came in with the last wave of the final, the WoW Exodus, and then it's like and they were thrilled until they started doing stuff that they couldn't do, like doing the ultimates, etc. So it's like you ended up having this aspect where it's like there is, like, I don't think it's like with the game, like you brought up League, for example. I just think there is a section of gamers that
That's
gravitate
fair.
to these ones, and then they'll find their way to ruin your day.
Yeah. It's
just cool. Like I appreciate
Yeah.
that. Like that makes me kind of want to try Final Fantasy 11.
It's
Good
the
game.
community of 11. It's because of the limitations of 11 is the reason why people help out. They want to help out and they want you to enjoy yourself. Whereas in like 14, it's like, hey, you need to read these guides for a little bit, and I'm sure the game itself should have told you how to do that. And that's what they're banking on.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And also, to be fair to 14 tryhards, yes, you're a tryhard if you're offended by that. There is a lot you have to explain, and a lot of it's visual. So, to be fair to them, yeah, the video guides for the savage fights and stuff are kind of necessary, because otherwise you're just going to be in MS Paint, like drawing boxes for 6.5 hours with 8 people, 2 of which have ADHD, 1 is autistic, and nobody can communicate. So
That happens more often than not, actually.
One of the guys doesn't even play Final Fantasy 14. He's just off playing like COD, just having fun. He's like, "Oh, I was just in the group chat for a good time."
Exactly.
Yeah, Raymond over here just like calling shots.
In 11, the combat flow is a little bit more restricted in terms of like, this is what we're going to do. Then that's what we're going to do, because typically in 11, it doesn't matter if you're standing on a red circle or not. You're not going to have time to react. So I mean, I don't even think there are even any red circles. There might be like a couple if you have mods, but typically you're going to be standing in one spot and furiously entering in commands with the D-pad or the book menus. So yeah, it's just different. It's just way different.
Unless you macro.
No, you got to macro.
Even if, well, you have to macro eventually regardless, but even if you're macroing, you still have to enter the book commands to start it.
Yeah. Now, as we kind of get ready to wind down the show, I want to talk to you guys about Blue Protocol Star Renaissance. So originally, this channel that we're on, before we rebranded it for the Gaming Roundtable podcast, was my Blue Protocol channel. And then that game came out, and it was only in Japan, which I was like, bummer. So I was able to get to play it, but they had those same kind of rules that they had for Phantasy Star Online too. Like they would try to ban your account. I was streaming it. I think that led to my downfall. I got reported, and then they kicked me out. And I was like, I want to play your game. Like I would even give you money to play your game, but they're like, no. And then it isn't like after a year, they're like, and we're shutting down. I was like, you had a whole area of people that wanted to play your game, and now you're shutting down. That was a real disappointing day. Because Amazon has announced they were going to be publishing it, bringing it over here like they've done with Lost Ark, for example. And I was like, oh, great. They'll be able to work out their issues, and then they'll be able to come to the global market and find some success. That is obviously what didn't happen. And so I was like, I was hurt. I was like, dang, I really want to play the game. Then they announced that this Blue Protocol Star Renaissance, it's a mobile version. Right now, it's beta, just like we were talking about earlier with 14 mobile in China. The global version's coming out. And as enough time has passed, because I think it's been at least a year now, I'm interested in checking it out. So, like I said, especially with like the Steam, my Logitech G Cloud, which is a Android-based tablet for all case and purposes. It just happens to have a controller built around it. That might be something that I'm interested in checking out and seeing if this is going to be something that I want to kind of participate in. Still, the original Blue Protocol was going to be free, so that's kind of, I was like, also like, why are you making it free? Like, put some skin in the game right out the start. Like, it doesn't have to be expensive, because then you run into the problem with bots. It's like, so the way that they address the problem with bots and trading, they just didn't let you bot or trade, which I think is a critical component, in game. It's not bot. They probably had plenty of bots, but you couldn't trade. So there's nothing like a reason to bot. Would only be, I guess, to grind on your own or farm your own materials. And I was like, oh man, the fact that it didn't have player trade, I think, hurt it. But here we are on the cusp of another kind of a mobile MMO. I'd like to get y'all's take, because we spent a lot of time talking about Final Fantasy 14. I'd like to kind of bring up this, because this was also originally developed by a lot of the Final Fantasy 14 team that went over to Bandai Namco to make Blue Protocol. What do y'all think?
I think it was a shame that you said it was canceled before, but it's being brought back.
Yeah, by I think Tencent in China. Like, so it's like,
yeah,
they sold it, and it's like, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Who's going to be making it?
Yeah, and don't be too afraid by the name Tencent there. They have like a stake in everything, I've learned. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they own a portion of every electronic device in this room.
But I'm actually looking forward to it. I wasn't too excited when I heard it was free, because I was very cautious of that. But hearing that it's going to make a comeback in some form or fashion, I have some interest in it. But what I'm going to do is keep an eye out, see how it is. I'm probably going to DM Brian a lot to see if that game is worth it once it does reaches his hand. So see if it's
It does
worth
look
it.
cool.
Yeah, I'm hoping to get into the global beta, just so I can kind of see, because again, like, I have no interest in touch controls. When I think mobile, I think immediate touch controls. Going with, like, it better work with a controller, and on
It's
this.
gonna have a PC client as well.
That's the thing. I've heard that as well, and so that's where it's like, if it's just on mobile, like, I lose so much interest so fast.
Yeah.
But if it's like, yeah, PC mobile, like, okay, cool. Like, now we're talking, like, you brought up Wuthering Waves already on the show. We brought up, like, we didn't even talk about some of the other gotchas out there, but they've been doing that mobile PC kind of client. And so, yeah, I think I'm honestly really hopeful, because I did enjoy my time before I got banned from the game. I was having a great time. I was like, this is great. I love the visual aesthetics. This is a beautiful game, and I just wanted more of it. And now here we are. And we have MMO Bean, who's been helping me in our Discord. Like, hey, like, here's the signups and things like that coming up. So kind of a minor plug, if you guys are interested in Blue Protocol or any of these games, get involved in the Discord. Top link in the description. Anyway, any other thoughts, guys? Because it's just general, like, Scrag, I think aesthetically this might be more to your liking, based off of that little bunny girl in the background on your in your room.
It's gonna depend on if they brought the jiggle physics back or not.
Wow.
A man who speaks truth.
I know what I like.
He is true to himself. Does it have to be the full jiggle physics?
Yes.
Okay. All
Preferably customizable on character customization. Yeah. Yeah.
Gravity
Because, like,
affects my character
I think
On a scale from none to Dead or Alive 3.
Dead or Alive 3 is pretty tame. I don't know what you're talking about. No, but for real though, I don't know. We'll see. I was kind of disappointed that the story is going to be massively changed, because I didn't get to experience the original one. So who knows? I thought the characters looked pretty cool for that originally. So we'll see on that point of view.
The environments look cool.
It does.
Like, I just looking at like the site and kind of clicking around. I'm a sucker for, like, really interesting looking environments, and so I would play it based on just what I saw. That's why I started playing Genshin and then got out of it, because I didn't know what I was doing. But, like, Genshin Impact looks really cool, has some really beautiful scenery, and then it was just like, oh, I'm lost.
Yeah, I like the art style. I like anime, so it's like, I was really kind of excited, because it's like, there's a lot of, in a way, like, I always kind of go back to Sword Art Online. Like, I really enjoyed that anime, and it's like anything that can kind of translate that vibe,
Right.
into a game for me, I'm all in. Same thing with the Dot Hack series. It's like when we talk about games that I'd love to see them kind of remake and remaster. Like I think, and even if they decide to revisit it as a whole new, what have you, like anime, Japanese RPG, mimicking an online MMO, like kick ass. Let's go. That would be something that I would like to see. Maybe
the novelty of that back then was that MMOs like weren't really a thing in the zeitgeist, So, but I do think they need to remaster the original 3.
Yeah.
If not the original 4, including Fragment, because that would be amazing.
I have all of them in Steam.
No, you don't. You don't have them because they're not on Steam.
Really?
They're not on Steam? Wait, I was going to ask you.
The originals are not on Steam.
Oh,
let me see which ones I have.
The ones you have Haseo, and those are not as good, in my opinion.
So if I were to start playing any kind of dot hack game right now, what were you point me to?
You'd have to get the PlayStation 2 releases.
That's what I would say, because those are the ones with the story that was like actually good, and then the ones that are on Steam, which you can get on sale for like $5 sometimes for all 3. Mm-hmm. It looks better graphically, but the gameplay loop was a lot more like I would just say lame, and the character is like super edgy for no reason. So I enjoyed the original better because it had a little bit of mystique. It had a little bit of mystery to it. But by the time we get to the second trilogy, there's like no mystery left. It's like, you know what's going on. He doesn't, but you do. And it's just like, man.
Oh, yeah. I don't like when they do that, where it's like your character, you just finished something, beat a boss, and then they switch over to a different scene with a hooded guy talking to possibly one of your allies.
No, it's not like that. It's just
okay.
you already have the context of like, oh yeah, that's Skaith. That was the bad guy from the last trilogy. And then he's just like, oh, what's this? And it's like, oh, come on. Like, I know we got to reintroduce it to the audience, but come on.
Yeah. Sync, when 7.3 drops, I'd like to get you back because I'd like to start talking about like 8.0 job speculation and kind of what you're wanting, because from just a roadmap for 14, they were saying like, hey, we're going to focus on difficulty with 7.0 and then 8.0 job identity rebalancing. And I really hope that they go all in on that, because their work on the PvP makes me like, I want that same level of investment on the PvE side in terms of like job identity, but that obviously brings about when and why and what's the resources and do we get jobs. So I'd love to kind of like pick your brain about that. But as we wind down this show, we always like to end with kind of what we're playing right now. So let's start with our returning guest, Syncweaver. What are you playing this week?
I've been playing a good amount of V Rising. If you guys don't know, you probably do. It's a good game, ARPG. They came out with a recent like update involving like a whole new area. Just some Naga snake boss lady who is really annoying, because now instead of having 1 or 2, 3 AoEs out there, there's about 57. So so it's more or less they're really testing the players in this. And then recently they updated the PvP for V Rising, and every time any of the teams try to take on this boss, they lose a little bit more of their sanity. And I love watching it because I'm not trying to face her. So
nice.
Yeah, it was a good time to get back into V Rising.
Very cool.
You can jump in on that, Chrono. What are you playing?
Oh, sorry. It was you usually like directed. You looked
very cool. I was like,
awkward. Oh, my bad. I don't ever want to take over. Let's see. Well, I started DK Bonanza, so I'm probably gonna keep playing that on stream. Pokemon Unite is celebrating their 4th anniversary over the next few weeks, and there's been some major patches there that have brought some much needed and much wanted balance back to the game. So I'm excited to jump into that over this next couple of weeks, and then that's pretty much it. I've also been playing through Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories again. I finally got to like the second half of that game where you play as Riku, and it's much more fun because you don't have to manage any cards or anything. You just button mash, spin to win, and I'm enjoying the second half of the game way more than the first. But yeah, it's been fun. I'm looking forward to more DK though. That's just been a blast.
Rechains of Memories?
Yeah. I would have much preferred to replay it on GBA because I think that's the more fun way to play it. But I was grinding Xbox achievements, and it was just easier to fire it up that way.
I have to say, I do like. I also like the points and contention of the story for Riku over Sora.
Yeah, yeah, 100% agree. 100% agree.
Well, this last week, I've been there. There's a local store in my town now, for like a magic and trading card and board game store. So, in the evenings, I've been playing a ton of Magic this last couple of weeks, I guess. And I have built 4 Final Fantasy themed commander decks. One of which is the Wandering Minstrel, which is amazing because all the I warned you guys I was going to go over this, but this set for Magic is so flavorful. Like, for example, Omega in 14, right? He like does those stasis fields where he like locks you down. In my Wandering Minstrel deck, I have Omega, and you know what he does? He taps 1 permanent on everybody's field except for yours for however many lands you have turns. So if I have 8 lands, you can't use that card for 8 turns. Wow. And then I have Y'shtola in the deck, and she makes it happen again, twice at the end of the turn. And then I have another card in the deck. When I tap it and pay 2, she makes it actually happen 4 times. So when Omega gets on the field, literally you're not doing anything until I win. Which is kind of crappy, but it's so flavorful and it fits with Omega perfectly.
So
yeah,
these are supposed to not just be they actually are cards worth getting.
Yeah, I mean Omega's like 10 cents because nobody else sees the value in him. But like the Y'shtola Surge art or Surge foil holo right now is like $900.
Good lord!
All right.
All the cards that are actually like worth using are pretty expensive. Mostly the full art cards. Like, let me show you an example. One moment. I opened that the wrong way.
The way Scrag is describing this deck is the reason I got out of Magic the Gathering.
Ooh.
So Balthier and Fran, that's not like a full art like the other one. Let me pull out the Graha Tia deck. 1 second. Yeah, I made a Graha Tia deck where he gets all the weapons and hits you for 1 million damage. So like these cards like this where they're full art, those are the ones in holo that are like hundreds of dollars.
Love it.
And they're all pretty good. Like Terra from Final Fantasy 6, I think, or 4?
Yes. 6.
6. So what she does is she transforms into her trance state and then copies a bunch of stuff, or can copy one thing, like an enchantment on your field. So like hypothetically with her, if she's in this deck, which she will be eventually, I could just make like 1 million copies of her, and then I win. Bye. But yeah, if you're interested in Final Fantasy and Magic, check out the cards. They're very flavorful if you can find them. That is, they all fit to what the characters are supposed to do. Like Xenos. Xenos has an ability when someone else loses the game, you win. He also has, when he comes onto the field, you pick one creature and then everything else gets hit with -2/-2 until the end of turn. So it's actually called My First Friend, I believe. 1 second, let me check.
Of course he's ridiculous.
Yeah. My First Friend, when Xeno Ye Galvus enters, choose a creature an opponent controls until the end of turn. Creatures other than Xenos and that creature get -2/-2. When the chosen creature leaves the battlefield, transform Xenos into Shinra, and then at that point you choose someone. When they lose the game, you win the game.
Of course he's ridiculous, of course.
Yeah, it's great.
I mean, lore-wise, he is the only villain to 1v1 the Warrior of Light and win twice. And then shenanigans happen at the end, so of course.
And also, one more. Sorry, this is going long. This is the next deck I'm going to build. I don't know if you guys can see
Of
that.
course. Please tell me he's broken. Tell me he's broken.
You know in the game where he keeps getting blown up by bombs, and he keeps getting like launched into space, and then like he always just keeps coming back?
Yeah.
Well, this card is an adventure card. So when you play the card for the adventure cost, he becomes exiled, at which point he's outside of the game, and then you can play him for his normal cost. Okay? When he dies, he goes to the graveyard, which if he's your commander, you can choose to make him go to your command zone. But if he's in your graveyard, you can play him as an adventure. And then he gets exiled. If he's exiled, you can play him anyway. So you literally never can get rid of him.
That's
Oh,
great.
man, that's so cool. I think to wind down the show, though, for me, Donkey Kong Bonanza with the kids, still more Final Fantasy 11. Going to do an early stream tomorrow for that, and then I'm going to take the kids to go see Superman tomorrow, which I'm
Nice.
really excited about. I saw it. I'm seeing it again. I'd honestly like to go try to find a way to take Julie as well. We were trying to figure it out, but babysitting is a pain in the butt to coordinate. And then yeah, I'm gonna also continue to do some more No Rest for the Wicked. I just feel like I'm eating really good. Like in terms of game of the year right now, like Expedition 33 and Donkey Kong, like all right, we got two really good games. I'm expecting maybe we're gonna get another two really good games later this year, and it's like, yeah, man, it's gonna be probably a pretty tough choice for me to see what ends up taking the cake. Do want to say thank you guys so much to our members, RJS Fan. We saw Robert here also in chat for supporting the stream. We've opened up membership here at $1 if you guys want to help support the podcast. We have had to take it off the MP3 because Podbean wanted 500. So if we end up like right now the podcast, it's never been a money making kind of thing. It's always just been for fun. But if you guys want to support and if you've made it all the way to this point in the video, be sure to hit that like button. That's a great free way to do it. Or if you can, consider that. If we get back up to where the podcast is making the money that Podbean wants, I'll bring back the MP3. But in the meantime, YouTube, Twitch, Kick, all the things is where you can find it. So thank you, everybody. Thanks, Sync, for jumping in this week. Chrono and Scrag for always coming back. And we'll get you back on Sync more regularly, namely because I was like, why the heck? I love talking with this guy. Like, he's an awesome guy. And so we'll get you back here later in the next couple of weeks. I'm assuming 7.3 is going to be rolling out within the next couple of months, and then I'm assuming FanFest is sometime. Like my memory of it, I'm like, that's where we should technically be, somewhere along those roads. So all in all, it's going to be a fun year, regardless, especially when we can actually all maybe try out 14 Mobile and give our impressions and reviews of that. But if you guys enjoyed the show, thank you so much for being here. Be sure to leave a comment. Is a great way. Or hopefully we'll see you here next week. We are live every Friday at noon, 2-1. We're a little bit long today, but it's okay. It was a good conversation. But outside of that, guys, I wish you all the best, and hopefully I'll see you next time. But until then, take care.